Hello, I'm Miss Faith, and also known as Shadow Witch, and welcome to my channel. Tomorrow is Halloween, except this is not an exciting, witchy, fun, magical video, but it's very important, and I want to talk to you about this. This time of year, all of us that have witch shops are out in the public eye tend to get a lot of calls, at least one, from local reporters wanting to interview us for one reason or another, because, you know, of course we only exist this time of year at Halloween. And this year was no different. About a week or so ago, I received a call from a local reporter, actually more downstate than not, which was kind of curious, but it makes more sense now. I won't mention the publication because it's really irrelevant. The reporter was very nice, very polite, and asked good questions, but did tell me that they were asking about an inmate in the prison system in the state of Connecticut, where I'm located, who was Wiccan, and I'm saying that in heavy quotes, and that will become apparent why in a little bit, who was suing the state because they wanted to use smudge in their religious rites within the prison system. And so I was very happy to answer his questions, the difference between incense and smudge, how it's really not necessary to use either to practice what we practice. And we had a really interesting conversation. My mistake, I'll admit it, didn't ask. I don't know if I would have been told what the crime the person was in for. I mean, there's a myriad of crimes you could be in prison for. And it wasn't offered. And then I saw the article, of which I am named, and the business and everything, enchantments here in Manchester, Connecticut, Faith McCann, everything. And for once I wasn't misquoted, which is a rarity. But the inmate, had brought his suit back in February of 2023 or something like that. So, of course, you know, this is when you put it in the paper, Halloween. That's not the point. It's just so distasteful and so upsetting. This person, this monster, was found guilty of 16 sexual assault charges of a little girl from the ages of 7 to when she was 12. I read this whole article and immediately I called. I had to process my thoughts because it was just like, and I am a teacher. I teach. And so I called up the reporter and I asked if he would put a retraction in, not to take my name or my business out. I probably wouldn't have asked. I would have asked that he not publish that. But what's out there is out there. But I asked if he would be so kind, and I don't know if it'll happen, as to put a little bit more detail. It is so important to understand that as Wiccans, and I made a point of telling this reporter, this monster that is in prison for the next, I believe he got sentenced to 30 years. Not long enough as far as I'm concerned. He's not Wiccan. And that is dancing on an incredibly sharp, razor thin edge for me to say that, to come out and denounce somebody's personal spiritual beliefs. No. Oh, he might think he's a witch. He might think he's a magical person. I don't know. But I told the reporter, and I will tell you, anyone that is not familiar with our ways, we have one unbreakable rule. And it harm none. Now, you might sit there and want to debate degrees of harm. You know, your friend asks you if her outfit makes her look fat, and you know, you want to be all honest and stuff. You know, tell her it doesn't. Lie when, you know, you don't want to hurt somebody's feeling. That's one level of harm. But when it involves a child, there is no distinction. There is no wiggle room. There's no gray area at all, in any case, for any reason. And it harm none ever. And if you can't follow that to the point of harming a child, you're not a Wiccan. You're a monster. Do not conflate the two. Do not think that the two even go together. I know people might say, well, you have other religions or other religious leaders have done. You know what? I don't care about other religions. I don't care that humans have flaws. And you know what? We don't have 10 commandments. We don't have 100. We don't have 616. We have one law, one unbreakable law, and it harm none. And if you can't do that, don't call yourself a Wiccan. Sure as hell don't bring a lawsuit so you can burn smudge while you're in prison, serving a sentence that is far too short, in my opinion, because you harmed a child. No. And for anyone that sees my name in that article, please don't at all think that any of us are good with that. That person would be ostracized from any community I'm in, and I will say that proudly. And I know there are Wiccan elders that might be watching this that do go into prisons to bring fellowship to prisoners, and rock on if that's you. That's not me, and it never will be, because it's not hard. Not hard. Don't harm anyone. As a matter of fact, go out of your way. Avoid harming someone. I've told, if you have to lie not to harm someone, lie. Just, if you can avoid harming someone, don't touch someone. If someone comes up to you in your face and you know you could knock them out, maybe you've trained in the martial arts, maybe you know how to fight, walk away. You can do that. And it takes whatever it takes. But the fact that it says Wiccan inmates sue state over a religion, you know what? The suit was brought in February of a year ago. But of course, it's getting in the paper today. Don't worry, it's not a paper you've heard of. That is not who we are. That is not what we do. That is not what we condone. We have enough problems with people just understanding us. We don't harm children. We don't violate anybody, ever. As a matter of fact, the Wiccans I know have a higher sense of personal integrity than a lot of people I know. And I just wanted to put that out there, that anyone that sees this, these inflammatory, these what would you call them? They're just so sensational. And yeah, I bet you a lot of people are reading that like, yeah, look at those witches, you know. No. The person is a monster. There is not a better name for this person. This person doesn't follow any of our beliefs, and he wants smudge. Trust me, dude, you need a hell of a lot more than smudge to clean your soul. I don't think it's possible. I really don't. I even called up the Attorney General's office today and left a message for the Assistant Attorney General that is in charge of, I guess, this case, who he feels the quote unquote the lawsuit is irrelevant and calling for a dismissal. I told him he's absolutely right. I agree with him. If he'd like to know more, I'd be happy to speak with him. Now, I am not an attorney, wouldn't want to be. I know some nice attorneys. I've known some not so nice ones. But I will read to you the U.S. let me see, the Amendment 5. Detmer v. Landon, 799 F2D 929, 4th Circuit, 1986. Is a court case in which the United States Court of Appeals for the 4th Circuit held that although Wicca is a religion, that's kind of bolded out because that was kind of cool for us. Yes, it's not often that a court of this caliber will come out and officially say, although Wicca is a religion, that's why it's in my book, it was not a violation of the First Amendment to deny a prisoner access to religious objects. Of course not. This guy in Virginia, a member of the School of Wicca, not my school, he desired access to ritual objects, including several varieties of knives with which to practice Wicca rituals. Really? And they wouldn't let him have the knives? That's outrageous. They also would not let him wear a hooded cloak, which is not something you need to wear. You can wear whatever you want. Please wear something. Don't go skyclad. Nobody wants to see that. You don't need to wear a hooded robe because it would obscure your face from guards and others that need to see who you are, cameras. They don't need candles, lit, flames in an environment such as a prison, which it could cost, people to be in danger or worse. You never get to have knives or anything. Guess what, folks? You're gonna violate the law and go to prison, you lose your rights. Do you think they're giving Catholics a whole bunch of wine to suck down for what is it they call it, Eucharist or something like that? We call it cakes and ale. I don't know. They have the communion, the Holy Communion, or the wine and the wafers. You know what I'm talking about if you're Catholic. I don't know. I'm not Catholic. I'm kind of hazarding a guess, probably not giving them any wine. So, you know what? Those of you that know me know I'm wicked liberal and progressive, but in some cases I'm very conservative. You break the law, you go to prison, you don't get all of the accoutrements, you don't get all the fun and the frolicking of being a Wiccan. You need to actually be restricted from living a life as a free citizen. Why? Because you harmed somebody. In this case, this monster, as he shall be forever known, has irreparably harmed a child. And that child will probably never be the same. I can't imagine that they will ever be the same. They won't. They can't. And I only pray that that young person grows up to have an amazing life and becomes strong and is able to somehow overcome having encountered a real monster. Tomorrow is Halloween. These are the monsters we got to worry about. So yeah, if you go to prison, you lose your rights. And sorry for Mr. Detmer. Sorry for Connecticut Monster. I don't consider people that are sitting in prison having done irreparable harm to another person Wiccan. We don't follow the same rules as other religions. Born a Catholic, die a Catholic. You know, maybe that's the case with lots of religions, and I'm only using Catholicism because so many people can relate to that. Maybe that's the case. Not with Wicca. You earn it, and you should work to keep it. This person has lost the right to call themselves Wiccan. And in my opinion, forever and ever and ever. And if you agree with me, fine. And if you don't agree with me, I don't really care. I don't give a flying monkey. So, please, those that happen to see that article, burn it. Don't conflate that Wiccans who try so very hard to be who we are. And we live our lives being outside, and I don't mean outside in nature, being outside of the norm. This is monstrous. Thank you for letting me vent and share with you. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And as I said, if you disagree with me, then that's your right to do so, because that's America. This is America, and you can disagree with me. And if you do, I don't really even care why. And if you're one of those elders that go into the prison systems, you know, rock on. I hope it does something good for you. But this will never be good for me. And it harmed none. That's our only law. I hope you have a safe Samhain, a happy Halloween. Buy some candy for the kids. They deserve some candy. Keep it safe. Be kind to everybody if you can. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.